Welcome to the video. We got Punisher by Phoebe Bridgers. I hope I'm saying that correctly. As suggested by Daggerbeats, who's in the chat. I know nothing. Like, nada. I've had this album cover like around me for a while, where I've always been intrigued by it because album covers are such a huge part of like how I consume music. So I like album covers, and this album cover was definitely interesting. So I kept it around, and now that it's come to me from an external source that I didn't even anticipate, we're here, dude. Yeah, it means you gotta either clean the dryer or run them a little bit extra, and make sure that you're not exceeding the dryer's weight, dude. That happens to me a lot. Like I totally feel you. Chapter 1 is always research. Indie musician. So this is like singer-songwriter stuff. So this is like an actual like street musician that like made it. See, for Ed Sheeran, I don't know who else did that. Oh, okay. So she was featured on a 1975 project, Folk Rock Emo. Actually, I feel like this is one of those projects that I feel like I could get into it and understand it. Are you guys ready? This is kind of new territory for us. I don't think I've ever taken you in like the indie direction, more or less. I don't think I've taken you in the indie direction. Track number 1, DVD Menu. I think it's kind of an intro, right? Oh, I'm gonna like this. This is gonna be good. I've already decided this is a great album. Oh, Jesus. My God, what an intro. All right. Jesus, the like it's so subtle. It's so sweet. It's so electrifying and atmospheric. Man, I'm like completely sold already. Daggerbeats, you fucking rock for recommending this. I've been wanting something like this for a while. Like ever since the Wolf Lady album, whatever the fuck her name is. Ever since then I've wanted something like this. But yeah, I'm pretty fucking excited, man. Track number 2, Garden Song.
Names except the notches in the door frame. I don't know when you got taller, then I knew what I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how, but I'm taller.
The backing vocal has got it adds something pretty surreal to it. I like that. The background vocalist is her tour manager? That's pretty interesting. It adds a really surreal quality to it. I don't know if you're familiar with the Japanese house, but they do something very similar where the singer sings the vocals like 5 or 6 times and they're all played at once. Like she sings them in different baritones and they're all played at once, and it achieves a really dramatic, like surreal effect. Like it's very special to the Japanese house. Well, I love them so much. But yeah, I actually really appreciate the writing. The writing is quite simplistic but very endearing. Like there's a quality about singer-songwriters that aren't pretentious that's very rare. And I'm getting a sense that like this is more honest than it is pretentious, and I like that. I feel like sincerity in singer-songwriting, like in the singer-songwriting genre, goes a long way. Really goes a long way. But yeah, and I have a special love for instrumentals as well. Like I don't know if you know, like I'm a huge fan of Radiohead. My favorite album of all time is In Rainbows. But my second favorite Radiohead album is Amnesiac. And people might like squirm at that or look at me weird, like you like something that is basically Kid A but like half as good. That's not what I like about it. What I liked about it is that the sound is so stripped back, and that they have a large emphasis on instrumentals and atmosphere, and that for me goes a much longer way than vocals sometimes. Where I could really, really appreciate, like for example, a song like Hunting Bears off of Amnesiac, for example. That's an absolute masterpiece to me. Still. And I love that song. It's like 1 minute 30 of basically something that's very reminiscent of DVD Menu, and that's what reminded me of it. So, positive associations all around, and this album's looking like it's gonna fucking slap, but in a subtle, thoughtful type of way. Right, track number 3 is Kyoto. Oh boy.
Day off in Kyoto, got bored at the temple, looked around at the 7-Eleven.
I'm getting a real vibe of a...
Speed train, went to the arcade.
I went to Japan once. Oh. So this is starting to give me vibes of like a more approachable like Japanese house, I guess. I don't know, how do you guys feel about it? Like there's a very special vibe about it that's like very reminiscent of Japanese house, but the lyrical content is more straightforward, and the instrumentation is it's a little bit more diverse than a Japanese house song, let's say. Yeah, I guess so far I haven't like I'm fascinated for sure. But yeah, I need to get more vibes. I love the line about with my little brother, he said you called on his birthday, you were off by like 10 days, but you get points for trying. That's fucking funny. Right. Track number 4 is the title track already. Punisher.
When the speed kicks in, I go to the store for nothing.
Yep, Japanese house is fucked.
Right by the house where you lived with Snow White. I wonder if she ever thought that I'd feel like I know you, but we never met. And here everyone knows you're the way to my heart. Here's so many stories of you at the bar. Most times alone and some looking your worst, but never not sweet to the trust funds and punishers. Man, I wish that I could say the same. I swear I'm not angry, that's just my face. A copycat killer with a chemical cut. Either I'm careless or I wanna get caught. Who I'm not. What if I told you?
Wow. There's a really, really subtle tone to the track that the instruments sort of express, where there's this subtle edge to it that's like really pushed towards the back, where like you have this erratic beat, and it's just like pushing through. It feels almost organic, as if it's something monstrous or vicious coming alive. I really like that these tracks are like sort of two-faced in a way, where they're sort of pushing something, but like there is an atmosphere about them and a vibe that makes them feel alive. in a way, again, not too dissimilar from the Japanese house, but sort of in its own unique way, where like, yeah, it's singer-songwriter, but no, it's not just any singer-songwriter. Like the songs come through with a fair amount of character. Like the instrumentation is lavish enough and like diverse to sort of express like a real wide range of like emotion. So that's pretty cool. Track number 5 is Halloween. I know, right? This is really nice. Like, the melody that's carrying this track is so fucking potent, even though it's so pushed back in the mix.
We can be anything.
Something's played back in reverse too, I like that. What's going on here? This is such a beautiful song. It makes me feel uneasy in a way, and I guess there's a fun reference to murder here at a sports stadium. It took me a while to understand why she'd even mention it, but I guess it's like a recurring thing in her music. A weirdly specific thing too. This is such a pretty song. Ooh, that subtle edge in the back. This whole album feels like it is so deeply disturbed. Yeah, the fade in, the fade out, the fade back, and there's like these elements of like discord, like you said, Wandering Pickles. Like there's so much happening. Like it feels like on the surface it's a record, but it's like it's a record that's sort of alive or has its own agency or its own set of emotions. Where like she's using it as a tool to like tell these stories and make these songs, but the way that she's bringing out style from these songs is incredible. Like it feels like they're like these songs are like genuinely alive. Like the whole album itself, it has a life of its own. This is fascinating. Like you don't really see this very often. This is cool as fuck. Like genuinely. I was a huge fan of that track. Big part of me loves the emotion, like the emotional like weight that almost carries the tracks, not imbued within the tracks themselves. I don't know. I hope you guys are getting what I'm coming through. This is pretty chill. Track number 6 is Chinese Satellite.
When they could do something else. Drowning out the morning birds with the same 3. Took a tour to see the stars, but they weren't out tonight. So I wished hard on a Chinese satellite. I want to believe. Instead I look at the sky and I feel nothing. You know I hate to be alone. I want to be wrong. You were screaming at the evangelicals. They were screaming it's forever.
Some real I'm 14 and this is deep vibe. Very endearing though.
Sometimes when I can't sleep, it's just a matter of time before I'm hearing that's impossible.
A big fan of the song. Even though like the lyrical content is a sort of a bit on the nose, like I don't know how she manages to pull that off, but despite the lyrics having a certain like strange quality about them that maybe I don't really prefer. I do like things a bit more abstract when it's like when you're describing things in songs, I guess. But it's very, very endearing. All very, very lovely. And it, yeah, and like you said, Wonder Pico's like it doesn't really put me off much or like give me any like sort of pause or anything. Like I'm pretty okay with it. I like that track a lot. I still can't get the feeling that like DVD Menu was setting up an entirely different album. But then again, the elements from that song come and go away every so often in between these tracks. But I feel like there should have been more of an emphasis in like the darker tone of the instruments sort of taking up from track number 1 into the rest, with less of it being just like intermissions or when you're zooming in and out of tracks, I guess. Alright, track number 7 is Moon Song.
You asked to walk me home, but I had to carry you. And you pushed me in, and now my
There's a lot of things happening in the back that make this so much more than it is on the surface too.
we hate tears in heaven. But it's sad that his baby died. You're singing at my birthday, and I've never seen you smiling so big.
That's the thing, Wandering Pickles.
Not a cool theme.
It leaves you wondering more though. It leaves you wanting more. It's subdued, but like maybe too much.
Remember what it is, and if I could give you the moon, I would give you the moon.
I feel like this album is deceiving in a very, very strange way, where there's so much happening at the back than there is at the front. And it's starting to feel a bit disintegrated, where like it doesn't feel like one is backing it up or bringing it up. It feels more like there's like a subdued characteristic like Wandering Pickles pulled out and pointed out. I don't know why I'm slurring over my speech, but there's a lot to think about. Where like if she was going for this, what is the effect that it eventually achieved? I guess this feeling of like just like a slight uneasiness as you're experiencing the stories, and it puts you sort of in a mood. But then you realize that like there's so much more life and organic texture to the tracks themselves, I guess, than there is at the surface. Because it's a lot more complex than it appears at first glance, and that's what I'm giving it respect for. But like, why? But like, to talk about the track more specifically, I appreciate the dream quality of it, the zooming in out and like the zooming out and zooming in into like different like places and different locations, people, different situations and whatnot. Like, you know, like the erratic nature of a 2-minute dream. Because apparently most dreams are like not that long. Most dreams are like 2 minutes or so, which is insane. But I guess I appreciate that. Anyways, track number 8 is Savior Complex.
Emotional affair, overly sincere, smoking in the car, windows up, crocodile tears, run the tap till it's clear, drift off on the floor, I drag you to
Okay, this might be my favorite.
call me when you land. I'll drive around.
I like this song a lot.
One hand on the wheel, one in your mouth. Turn me on and turn me down. Baby, you're a vampire. You want blood, and I promised I'm a brave liar with the same.
Do you hear how much is happening at the back? Do you hear how much is happening at the back? It's crazy. Just stop listening to the vocals for a second and hear it.
I'll show you.
Oh my god. What a phenomenal track, dude. What a phenomenal track. I could spend like hours just peeling it back layer by layer. Like trying to hear all the instruments, and like there's something so charming about the way that she lays down her vocals. Like they have like a descending nature, right? And they're all veiled in this incredible atmosphere. I'm so fucking impressed. I feel like this track might have like saved the album for me in terms of like, I think I get it. I think I get it in a way that I didn't before this song. Because this song brought more of it forward, but it just showed me the value of how much it means to keep everything back. Because when everything is kept back, when it eventually does come forward to meet you, in terms of like instrumentation and whatnot, it just starts to mean that much more. I don't know every single song, so I'm experiencing songs fresh. Dude, Savior Complex is phenomenal. It's absolutely unbelievable. I love that track so much. I think it made me understand more about the album.
Laying down on the lawn, I see you now. I feel
That like drum is like, it feels like somebody's like banging against a wall in like a separate room.
If you're a work of art, I'm standing too close. I hate your mom. I hate it when she opens her mouth. It's amazing to me how much you can say when you don't know what you're talking about. But I feel something when I see you now. I feel something. I'll
track. Not much else happening here in terms of the back and the front or whatever, but the drumming is certainly really, really interesting, and it's almost fitting that the song is about her drummer who, yeah, they seem like they had a terrible past together. And that line about his mother fucking killed me. I hate it when she opens her mouth. It's amazing to me how much you can say when you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, that fucking did it for me. But yeah. Track number 10 is Graceland 2. Carries a religion. This is like the beginning of Outer Wilds.
No longer a danger to herself or others. She made up her mind and laced up her shoes. Yelled down the hall, but nobody answered. So she walked outside without an excuse. She could do anything she
After all these years, because it's an old internet thing, isn't it?
She wants to do. She could go home, but she's not going to. So she picks a direction. It's 90 in Memphis. Turns up the music so thoughts don't intrude. Or what she's gone.
The only thing that's really happening at the back right now to me is that there's a very soft violin or string instrument, but much less so than the other songs. Makes me wonder why. Like, that element is like the best thing about the album, but it's not even consistently present. Alright, there it is.
So we spent what was left of our
A decent amount of strategy.
serotonin.
Oh yeah, Octopus, you might be an indie type guy then.
We stare at the moon. Said you for you. I would do anything. I will do anything.
I'm very impressed by this song and this album in general in a pretty interesting way that it's like it's not really trying to like make you like it. It is merely just being itself, and it hopes that you like it too, but it doesn't really make an effort to go out of your way to impress you, where it impresses you whenever it wants to. She shows a very, very positive element of control over the song structure and elements and whatnot, to the point where it doesn't always feel like that she wants to show you everything that's within it. Right? It's interesting. I want to hear the last track, and then we can wrap it up with a discussion of what we all felt. Track number 11, final track, I Know the End.
Somewhere in Germany, but I can't place it. Man, I hate this part of Texas. Close my eyes, fantasize. 3 clicks and I'm home. When I get back, I'll lay around. Then I'll get up and lay back down. Romanticize a quiet life. There's no place like my room. But you had to go. I know, I know, I know.
Yeah,
You had to go.
this is a really interesting song to hear first, isn't
I
it?
know. Out in the park, we watched the sunset, talking on a rusty swing set. After a while, you went quiet, and I got mean. keeps pushing you away from me, but you come back with gravity. And when I call, you come home, a bird in your teeth. So I gotta go. I know, I know, I know. When the sirens sound, you'll hide under the floor. But I'm not gonna go down with my hometown in a tornado. I'm gonna chase it. I know, I know, I know. I gotta go now. I know.
I love how this is developing. This is cool. Alright. Okay, yeah, this is the best song on the album.
Driving out into the sun.
It's so much of what I like.
The ultraviolet cover me up when looking for a creation mess. Ended up with a pair of cracked lips. Windows down, scream along to some America First rap country song. A slaughterhouse, an outlet mall, slot machines, fear of God. Windows down, heater on, big bolt of lightning. Said the end is near. I turned around, there was nothing there. Yeah, I guess the end is here.
Where was this the entire album? Oh my god, this is amazing. You can tell like she's screaming into it, but it's not really working out. It's funny. I like that she included that. But yeah, what an amazing track and a wonderful closer. But then again, it reinforces what I feel about the album. That there is a part of it that's like, I am like 100% sure. I'm sure the music video will be awesome too. That this album is purposefully not curated for you. It doesn't feel like it was made for a listener. It honestly feels like that this album was made solely for her own amusement. It happened to release it and didn't really want or expect anything from it, where there is a desire to make these songs and to play with these elements and to have so much control over the sonics of the album, to have so much control over the elaborate instrumentation, all of the hidden and like subtle background sounds, and all of that coming together. But on track number 11, she sort of lets it all go, and you get a taste of everything that you've been waiting or teased by in between certain songs, and basically the vibe that's being exacted on track number 1 DVD menu. It sort of all comes together at the very end and sort of like and takes over into this really, really fantastic closer. The reason why I'm impressed by this album is that it manages to be heartfelt and it manages to be genuine and sincere while being simplistic and not overtly pretentious, and presenting you with unique sonic landscapes and sounds that you otherwise would not hear. Or just presenting you with so much opportunity to experience a lot of things. It's simple. 40 minutes doesn't like overstay its welcome. It's a very, very tight track listing as well. I don't think any of these songs would have been able to like been cut out or anything. If anything, I feel like the only criticism is that I wanted the vibe in between the songs to be a bit more present or be a bit more like easily like you could easily like basically just so you could pick it up easier because it feels like everything is concealed. While I understand that might be on purpose. If you're good at breaking an album, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I try my best. One thing that is about the album is that it seems very physically and culturally grounded. Constant references to building, events, places, and narratives. Again, yeah, right. While Wandering Pickles, like, I generally like people to be a bit more abstract and a bit more universal because I've never been to the US. I don't understand. Like, if she didn't explain what exactly she hates about that part of Texas, I would not understand. So when you're writing music and you get a bit more abstract with it, it gets a lot easier to sort of communicate ideas past like cultural borders. But the thing with her is that even though I have no idea what the fuck she's talking about, I didn't have a hard time relating to it as much as I thought I might have. Because the genuineness and the lack of pretentiousness in the songs is very easily like it. She's communicating it very well. Also, a great command over the production, and a great command over the sounds, and a sort of a unified vision. And also, like the album art is quite haunting. I love it. But yeah, that's it.